Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up your ringside seat, get your soda, your popcorn, your whiskey, get everything you need, because we need some Roman Reigns.
Well, first thing we're going to need, get your pillows, because we got a pay-per-view or PLE this weekend that starts at, well, let's see, if you want to include your pre-show, so you want to get in and you want to make sure you get all your wrestling, 5 a.m. Eastern time, 4 a.m. Central, so by Midwest friends, 4 a.m., see you guys there. And on the West Coast out there in California, all you listeners, 1 a.m. start time, you get to sit down and watch. So don't even go to sleep at that point. I say you just go out, get you some whiskey, have yourself a couple drinks, get a nice dinner, buy some breakfast, bring it home with you, and 1 a.m. load up the ESPN app. Oh, God.
No, wait.
Not about that.
Wait, maybe ESPN app?
Yeah, probably not, but load up.
It depends on your local provider.
Yeah, load up your viewing device with whatever choice you may want. 1 a.m. on the West Coast, guys. 5 a.m. on the East Coast. Start on your pre-show and then get 7 to 8 hours of full wrestling experience.
So I just thought of a neat name for when PLEs are going to happen this early. We will now refer to these as pancake PLEs.
Yeah, no shit. The breakfast episode.
The breakfast.
Yeah, we won't be the Bookers Alliance on Saturday. We'll be the Breakfast Club. Load them up.
Well, you know, personally, though, this 8 a.m. Saturday kind of works for me because I got a crap ton of stuff I got to do this weekend. So, hey, 8 a.m., get it done,
Well, yeah, but 4 hours out of your day is going to be hogged up sitting watching wrestling on Saturday morning. That's usually when I do get that kind of stuff done, is Saturday morning, right? Get up before everybody else in the house is up, kind of get stuff moving, get stuff done. No. I've been sitting on my ass this weekend watching damn wrestling for 4 hours on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
With nothing else to do the rest of the day. So
yeah,
my Saturday night, I'll be 5 o'clock. Well, I'll probably be sleepy if I try and watch the morning show. But some 5, 6 o'clock, I'll be like, what am I going to do with my Saturday night? And there won't be a lick of wrestling to watch. God damn.
I love it when Frank gets on these rants. They're so much fun.
8 a.m. PLE. What are we doing?
Hey, and just so you know, that's Saturday, Monday, 8 a.m. Raw.
Oh, God. Look, so I guess there's the upside. I'll be at work.
Yeah.
But hell, I won't even really have gotten into the flow of my day. And then you're telling me I gotta pack in 2.5 hours of Raw.
Welcome to WWE Down Under, sir.
Yeah, this is awful. Pits. Maybe that's why we're disinterested.
Maybe.
We'll save that for later. But yeah, that maybe that could be.
All right, let's throw a shout out to our sponsor real quick this week, and we need you, Jack. We need you, Jack. Gentleman Jack is our sponsor this week. So cheers to a pancake PLE.
Well, hold on. Before we cheers to that, we got a double cheers this time.
Double cheers.
150 episodes in the books.
True.
This is 150. We're recording.
150.
A couple of good gentlemen recording a good podcast and complaining about 8 o'clock in the morning.
We like refined old men.
All right. Yeah, because the only old men will be awake at 8 o'clock in the morning watching damn wrestling. JD gonna help this episode go down smooth. Yeah. Probably needed Saturday morning too. So like I said, on the West Coast, don't even go to sleep.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Get yourself a nice big bottle of Jack. Go get that old school bottle. Sit down and drink it and party until the sun comes up.
All right, of course we're talking about Crown Jewel that will be emanating from Perth, Australia. On the other side of the world, where everything's upside down, the toilets flush backwards.
The underbelly of society.
And there's something in the water.
Yeah.
You ever heard that phrase when it comes to Australia? There's something in the water.
I believe it, though, because isn't Rhea Ripley from there? So, yeah.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's got to be something going on down there.
The land where something's in the water.
Wait, Margot Robbie's from Australia?
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense, because usually when I think her, I think about Down Under. But,
oh, we can't get canceled. Be careful.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Be careful.
Yeah, this ain't a Will Smith episode. I mean, you know. Although Will would probably say, look, man, been there, done that.
Get your out of my back.
Yeah, he said, been there, done that. Got it.
Got the t-shirt too. All right, let's talk about Crown Jewel. Talk about this is the yearly experience now that WWE is giving us, where it's champion versus champion for the most gaudiest belt ever created on the planet Earth.
That you don't get to keep.
And a ring that's 5 times bigger than any Super Bowl ring that they've walked off the field with.
That you only see for a month after you win it, because they only have to advertise it coming up to the next Crown Jewel. So Cody hadn't worn that thing not one time since he got it, until it's time to lead up into the story for this year's show.
Now, had this been MJF, you'd have seen that damn ring all the time.
Yeah, because he'd been knocking people over the head with it. Although, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'd be seeing it or not, because I ain't seen no AEW in a long time.
Low key, did you hear Punk's shout out to MJF Monday night?
No.
Yeah, Punk in his promo.
So problem is, anything AEW now I kind of zone out for. So if Punk referred to him, I probably blanked it right out of my mind.
Punk in his promo said that I'm the best in the world. And you all know it.
Wow.
And he kind of smiled at the camera when he said it.
Yeah, totally missed that. Nope, didn't see it.
All right, so we got champion versus champion, and then some other matches going to happen.
Yeah. Well, there's a Roman match on there. So, yeah, Roman match. Although the Roman match is Bronson Reed, who we've already seen this match, right?
We have already seen
remember the whole win your shoes back?
This is rinse, repeat.
Yeah, great. So I feel like he was supposed to move up the ladder, move up.
I've got some thoughts about what.
All right, we'll save.
We'll get there. All right, so let's talk
That's
about.
That's really the only match I'm super excited about.
Well, here's the only match that
we're not gonna say super excited. We're just gonna say mildly interested, but we got to give this show some energy. So
here's the match that I'm interested in. The only one that I'm interested in on the card is Cody versus Seth, and here's why I'm interested in this match. I'm interested in this match again because of how they're building it up. Of how Cody and Seth were enemies, they became frenemies, they became friends, where Seth became his shield for WrestleMania 40, and now
allies.
All of a sudden they are back at odds. But the story that they are weaving around this match, even though it's hey, we got to do this match because it's Crown Jewel and you both are champions, the story they're weaving around it is, Cody, do you agree with what I, as Seth Rollins, am sitting over here preaching to everybody and their mama, that I'm the vision and I know the future and I know the direction and you should be following me into that future? Do you believe it or do you not? And that's kind of where Cody has kind of took his lunch money in a way. He's like, no, hell no, I don't believe this shit. What are you talking about? You talking at your ass. I don't believe none of this. You're not the future. You're not it, because you've surrounded yourself with this, that, and the other. I tend to believe this will be a match where Seth goes over.
Yeah, if he doesn't, then we might as well fire Seth and send him down there with John Moxley at this point, because he's 3-0.
Has to go.
Yeah, he's 3-0. If Cody goes 4-0 on him, then he shouldn't even be the world champion. At that point, you don't want him representing your brand. He's a lifetime loser at that point. Right. He can't lose.
So it becomes a story that they're telling now that they've kind of past 2 weeks on Monday Night Raw they've gotten into, and this past Monday Night Raw, the conversation between Seth and Paul, I like that one. That really intrigued me, because Seth was asking, what happens if I don't win? And Paul was like, no, you're going to win. You're Seth freaking Rollins. You know the vision. You're the future of this. Of course you're going to win, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, Paul. What if I don't win? Shoot me straight. And then Paul proceeds to tell him, well, you're going to lose faith of Braun Breaker. You're going to lose the faith of Bronson Reed. The WWE Universe is going to look at you a certain way and blah, blah, blah. And they kind of stopped. And then he looked at Paul. He said, Paul, you said everything but what I needed to hear. What about the Oracle? What happens to the Oracle if I lose? And then Paul basically told him, then I'm going to have to reconsider and have some deep thought about why I chose Seth Rollins over Roman Reigns. So this story, they've spun a couple stories out of this to kind of say, okay, hey, pay attention. There might be something coming out of this. But then at the end, knowing the fan that I am, knowing the Triple H booking, how it's all going to go down, Seth's going to go over. There's going to be somebody to interfere to help that go over, whether it be Paul, whether it be the Bronze, whether it's Becky, or whether it's somebody new. Somebody is going to cost Cody that match.
Well, it could be me, because at this point, like I said, if Seth wins the match, then he can't even be the champion no more. I mean, at that point, you don't want him as a figurehead of your division if he can't get over the Cody hump. But I like that you drew stories that can spawn out all that. The only thing that you said in there that I disagree with is you said for the last 2 months they've been doing this story, right? For the last 2 years they've been doing this story.
No, if I say 2 months, I apologize. It was the last 2 weeks.
Oh, well, 2 weeks, 2 months, it's 2 years. So the story that I see, the underlying story I see out of this whole match is basically Seth telling Cody, look, Cody, you're in my way. And
no,
I want to be the guy, and I want to be the face of the franchise.
No, that's Roman. Roman said you're in my way.
Exactly. And so remember how we said Roman is the rinse and repeat match? Yeah, exactly. This storyline's the rinse and repeat storyline. That's why I said it's been going on for 2 years. Ever since Cody won the title, it immediately wandered off into Roman and Cody when they first got back together. You're in my way. I want to be the face of the franchise, but you're in my way. You think you're QB1, but you're in my way. So he never really did anything with Roman. Like, they never wrestled again. They never vanquished that feud, after WrestleMania, because of course they're not going to wrestle outside of WrestleMania. They tagged once, they did whatever, but they never really got over that you're in my way that Roman and Cody had. That was a lead into the tag team match, and it just fizzled from there. Well, now we just basically revived it, but instead of one Shield member, we plug and play with another Shield member. We put Seth in that role, and now Seth's essentially saying, Cody, you're in my way. I want to be the face of the franchise. I want to be the guy, and here you are in my way. So, okay, I've seen it already, right? Nothing came out of it the first time. At least this time we're going to get something out of it. But if Seth wins, in what world does he become the face of the franchise?
There's none.
Exactly.
None. Yeah.
So why lean into this storyline if you're not going to go with that ultimate payoff of saying now Seth is QB1? I mean, they're going to go their own separate ways. They're both going to go back to their respective shows, never to speak of this daunting event again. If Cody loses, no shade to him, because again, they'll never speak of it again. Seth will talk about it every night on Raw for the
that
next
ring
6
is
months.
part of his attire.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
The next 6 months.
Anything gaudy and stuff like that's all Seth anyway. That fits his character perfect. But Cody will never mention it again. He'll reference it one time on SmackDown. He'll never get back to it again. So essentially, does that elevate Seth to QB1 at that point, or is he, the backup still?
I think this is the elevation play for Seth versus Punk. I think Seth is going to go over on Cody and become this uber heel that nobody can stand, as if we can stand him anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have far to go for that.
Right. But it's going to put him over as this uber heel, this maniacal maniac of a heel that's champion, and that's going to elevate him to that position, so it makes Punk Seth at WrestleMania that much sweeter. Because
so you think Seth, and you think all this is building up to Seth and Punk at Mania?
This is a build to them.
All right, well then we need to talk about the next match on the card really, really fast, because I really, really need some questions answered in regards to that.
All right, so next match on the card, the other champion versus champion match. Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer, or Vacque, however you want to say it.
So I got a question.
Yes.
If no matter who wins, what are either one of them doing outside of this particular match?
Nothing.
So
why?
Right.
It's because it's the crown jewel.
Yeah. They got to have their two. They got to have their two people. So they got to have, So last year it was.
Let's call this match really what it is. And I'm sorry if I'm going to offend the female listeners at this point, however few they may be. This is an ass versus ass match. That's all this is.
It'll definitely be a good watch.
That's all for sure. This match is.
There won't be no part of it where any of the Booker's Alliance fans are going to be disappointed watching the match. We might not like the match, but we'll definitely enjoy the visual.
And as a wrestling fan, there is no shade to either lady about their wrestling, prowess in the ring, or about what they can bring to the ring. There's no shade on that. This match is only happening because it's champ versus champ and it's crown jewel. There's no story attached to this, nothing. They've tried to build it. There's no because there's no backstory. See, at least with Cody and Seth, there's so much backstory. Right. You had something to draw from. You can make a reason to have this match, and now it's for ultimate supremacy, blah, blah, blah. The women, they don't have that because they had no interaction before this whole match was loaded up. Upside, though, last year we had our two company favorites. We had our two babyface blondes out there, Liv Morgan and Cody Rhodes as the winners, as the face of the company. I think this year we're going more with a Latin flavor here because we're gonna have Seth. We're gonna have Colby, because we're not going to call him Seth for that. We're going to have Colby and Vaquer, and they're going to be loaded up in there. So with Triple H booking, we ain't going to get two black people to do it. So, we might as well get some minorities in here to do this. So let's go with that. I only laughed at that because it's true.
You're right. You don't see Obafemi and Jade Cargill standing nowhere in this conversation, do you? So, unfortunately, it's that time of the show again.
All right, but hey, just on the off chance, Stephanie, Tiffany, all right, if you're listening, just on the off chance, look, that's a challenge. Bring this match, man. Make it. You'll both have the capability to do some incredible things in this match. Let's see it. Let's not see a very first time Tiffany versus Jade Cargill. Please.
Yeah. Let's not see the last time. Because with the botches that we had in that, with the ref thing and that whole Nia Jackson fit, that was a nightmare too, right? So let's never see that again.
Let's not see that.
If we're going to talk about it, let's never see those two wrestle again. But yeah, I'm with you on that. They should definitely bring it. They should definitely come, ready to go and try and steal the show.
Speaking of never seen, let's talk about the Never Seen 17 heavyweight champion of the world, John Cena, and all the fans that were clamoring for this match with AJ Styles, right? You were on Twitter. I saw you tweeting like a storm.
I don't tweet like that, but
man.
There is a vocal minority that does tweet. And for whatever reason or another, wrestling promoters, they feel that vocal minority is the paying public. And I'm like, well, if that's what you think, I see Triple H sprinkling some of the Tony Khan style of booking in this match. And I'm like, you know what? If John's down for it, hey, it'll be a good match. Why not?
It'll be a good match. John will pull some things out of his bag like he's done in the past few matches. You might even see John. I'm gonna prophesy for a minute. Hold on. Let me prophesy. John using a V trigger on AJ Styles, maybe. Throwing a nod to Kenny Omega in that Bullet Club kind of a reference.
Possible, but John has like zero history with him, so I don't see where he would do it.
John, is there history with Finn? Has John crossed paths with Finn Balor?
Not that I know of, but I don't remember him throwing a shout out to Finn either.
No, so
I only really remember him.
I'm trying to make a story. There's none to be made.
They played into their story when they showed that vignette on Monday about how when AJ came in,
going back to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, essentially, when AJ first came in, he fought John right away. Then when AJ won the title, they flip flopped the title back. There's enough history there that I'm interested to see the match. And to be honest, with the amount of superstars left on the roster, there really isn't anybody else that John has good history with that I'd be willing to revisit, for fun that we haven't seen already. So I get it, but. Again, we know what I'm salivating for. We know good and well I'm waiting for a call up to happen and send John Cena, put him out to pasture. So yeah. Until we get to that, I'm just kind of along for the ride here. So come Saturday night's main event in December, that's what I'm hoping. People are out there paying $11,000 for a ringside seat to a damn 3-match,
Just a maul.
essentially Monday night show.
Like a mugging.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to see. We'll see if we get there, but that's what I'm looking forward to.
So John versus AJ, I think it's going to be a good match. It's just it is what it is at this point, and sadly, that seems to be WWE these days. It is what it is at this point, and that's unfortunate, and that's a topic for another podcast.
Topic for another segment, right? I feel like we're getting there real soon.
All right, let's talk about, before we get to the main topic that we want to talk about, though. Let's get to the women's tag match.
Okay,
Kairi Asuka versus Io Rhea.
Yep.
So we know why this match is happening, right?
Hell yeah, because Rhea had to get on the card somewhere. She's
Australia.
She's been down there for 2 weeks doing promos already. If she does all that, then don't even wrestle. It's like, well, hell, did y'all forget? Like, what happened here?
So I will say, I was invested in the small little story they spun up for this match. I was invested.
Okay.
Until they rushed it. Wow. It's rushed.
Perth had to. Perth
be
came
rushed,
when
though.
it's coming.
Yep.
I mean,
it had to be rushed. It had to be. I would have liked to seen Io struggle with this idea more. I would have liked to seen it cause some issues between her and Rhea, to where almost Io started believing Asuka, and maybe even kind of pseudo attacked Rhea in a way, but then apologized and then finally flip back to the good side, and then this tag.
They've been sprinkling.
They rushed it.
Yeah, but they've been sprinkling anecdotes here and there. They've been doing that for 3 or 4 months now. I mean, this 4-way interaction, ever since Asuka came back, they've been hitting at this 4-way interaction with Kairi and her and Rhea. They've been getting there. So if you look at it for 6 months worth of time, they have been sprinkling it in there an awful lot. It's just they rushed into this match. They should have, instead of sprinkling, you don't always have to give us the lightest amount. Sometimes you give us one big push, maybe about a month ago. Had they done that, then we would have said, oh, okay, we're getting to a match. Well, yeah, but Perth is coming when it's coming, and they had other stuff going on in that. So I get it, but it hadn't lost my interest in the match yet, just because I feel like there's not going to be a clear-cut match. I feel like there's got to be some kind of turn or something in there.
There'll be some shenanigans or something.
I'm not 100% sure if maybe Io doesn't go back to the family and they all turn on Rhea, or
Kairi turns on Asuka.
Or that could happen and leave her out there to be on her own. I mean, there's a lot of different angles they could go with it. It's just willing to see what they're going to do with it.
Yep. I want to see this match, but again, they rushed it. I wish they would have slow played it a little bit more, but in the end, it is what it is. They're in Perth. You got to get Rhea on the card. It is a compelling story to kind of see what happens with it. At the end of the day, though, once this match happens, where do they go? What do they do?
Whatever the fallout is, I feel like that's why I said I feel like there's going to be more fallout with either Io rejoining back up, or like you said, maybe if Kairi leaves, then there's a built storyline for at least 2 or 3 of them. Rhea has nowhere to go with this. Like, I feel like after this, unless all 3 of them turn on her, unless they make a 3-way Kabuki Warriors and turn on Rhea, then Rhea has to fight all 3 of them. She has nowhere to go with it, but it is good to see her not so deep in the women's title picture that it convolutes that. So I guess it works to have her doing something. It's just kind of awkward for 3 people to be arguing and fighting and then just insert Rhea in there just to kind of make it work.
And before we get to our main topic of this last match that got added to the card in Perth, I want to give a shout out.
So the main event.
Oh, okay. I want to give a shout out real quick to somebody that had a stellar match Monday night, and to me, probably one of the most improved wrestlers of the year, and that's going to be Maxine Dupree.
Yeah.
That was a crazy match that she had with Becky Lynch. Granted,
it was messy. It
was messy.
Let's not say Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect just yet.
No. I'm not going there.
They're not ready to wrestle main event.
But it's also
Mania.
But it's also 10 times better than anything Maxine Dupree has ever done.
You can see she's been putting the reps in.
She's been putting the work in.
You got to think though, Chad's been unavailable. He's been out of wrestling for 6-7 months, so he's had all that time to work with her.
Yep.
Because he hadn't been on TV at all, and he's not wrestling at all. He didn't wear no mask or anything. So he's got plenty of time to train.
You tell me he's not one of the Los Americanos?
No.
Are you sure?
No,
Are you sure?
No, absolutely.
Positive.
He might have once been Viano Inferno number 4, but that would have been back in the WCW
Was
days.
that
But
evil,
now,
evil number 2?
yeah, exactly. But now, no, he's definitely not. He's definitely not involved in that storyline at all. I think he's full-time training to help Maxine get ready for whatever in the hell they're trying to do with her.
But good job on that. All right, let's get back to the main event. Our topic for the day is the Roman effect. Out of nowhere Monday night, Roman Reigns gets added to the card of Crown Jewel in Perth, and against Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
Now, this ain't Clash in Paris, is it?
No, but isn't Bronson from Australia?
He's from New Zealand, so yeah,
Same difference. So you got to get him on the card. On the card
get him on
somewhere,
the card,
right?
yeah,
even though he's a heel.
Grayson Waller's not on the card.
Who?
Yeah,
Big G.
the Inspirations aren't on the card.
The Inspiration don't wrestle there, right? So they wrestle in TNA. We just saw them
They're
on NXT.
associated.
No, they're associated with NXT. They have nothing to do with WWE now. That just like the Hardys aren't WWE tag champs, right? They're NXT tag champs. No.
So yeah, so we're getting Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight.
Yeah. Good day, mate.
Yeah. So was it going to have kangaroos? In the
That's
ring?
what I'd
are we
like to
doing?
see, like some coconuts and like some, the big palm trees that Australia has. They're not palm trees, but whatever kind of trees they are. I'd like to see that.
So here's the topic, though: the Roman effect. Why does this match exist? How did we get Roman Reigns mysteriously returning out of nowhere for Crown Jewel?
To get interest in watching it. I feel like after the last PLE and what ESPN kind of came away from that with, I feel like ESPN kind of called in a favor like, hey, the hell's that one Samoa dude y'all got over there that used to bring in ratings out the ass? Where's he at? Because we're getting the crap leftovers here, and it's hard to call the superstars that, but let's call a spade a spade.
So you're saying ESPN pulled a Ari Emanuel?
I'm saying ESPN's like $6 billion invested, and they're like, we want some ROI here. Damn it!
And where Ari called in The Rock for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, every now and again a Samoa gets called off the bench to come in and make a play for the team, and this is one of those. I feel like they were like, well, I feel like ESPN was kind of looking at it like, well, shit, this is looking just like last month's nonsense, and we ain't trying to have another one of those.
ESPN called WWE and said, get his ass out of Hollywood and put him in the ring.
I mean, yeah, there's enough story there to get a match to happen. Bronson put Roman out, stretchered him out and all that. I get it. But yeah, at the end of the day, hell, we had to get Roman on this card somewhere to get some interest in this PLE, to see if they could sell some ESPN apps for $30 a month or whatever in the hell. Something.
All right. So this is called the Roman effect. So we're noticing some things. We're noticing that interest seems to be driven along the lines of when Roman is appearing on a show.
Well,
so why is the question? You can't tell me that the talent that they have right now on that current WWE roster is not enough to where you need somebody like Roman Reigns. That talent.
So I can tell you that. I 100% can tell you that.
We can say that. Huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
There's no if you start a sentence saying we can't say it, no, the hell we can't. Because WWE clearly can say it, because when, like I said, when times got rough, break glass, in emergency, they call it Roman Reigns. If shit gets worse, then they call back The Rock. They're like, look, bro, you got to get them protein shakes going or something.
Rock is the break glass.
Yeah, no, Rock's the last resort. Rock's like, we're about to lose money now at this point.
Rock is the nuclear missile.
Hell yeah, easily. He's at this point, all investors are willing to pull out. And they're like, we need you to stay in. So then but Rock also needs to get back in the gym, right? This whole smooth and svelte Rock got Rock $6 million at the box office last week. So I mean, Rock, I get it. You want to evolve, but let's play the hits a little bit longer, right?
So let's look at it from another angle as well. So we're talking about from the talent. So your argument is the talent, or the talent pool that's in WWE, they still haven't climbed up to the level of Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Okay. Let's also look at it from this angle as well. Has TKO officially pushed the fans so far away now that fans are jaded on the product?
No. No, because again, they're selling $11,000 tickets to go to Saturday night's main event to go see Cena's last match, and they ain't struggling to sell the tickets, right?
So where is the freaking disconnect? What's happening?
So there's always interest in an event, right?
Right.
Like when Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul, we knew that was going to be a trash match,
shit show.
right?
Absolutely.
But they sold out at top dollar.
Yeah.
They sold, Netflix had what, 100 million damn viewers or whatever in the hell it was. People love to see a car crash, right? People love to see a spectacle. People love to see a show. People love to see something big and feel like they're a part of the moment.
Right.
But that moment only lasts for a moment. The whole rest of the time, you still got, the machine is still rolling, and people are like, hey, you know what? I might not need to be there for every Raw, for every SmackDown, for every NXT. Everybody ain't doing a damn podcast on WWE essentially, so they don't have to hang on to every thread of product available to them.
Right.
We, of course, are doing a podcast, so we need to be up on like almost everything that's happening in WWE so we can have something to talk about each week. Then we ain't the average fan, though. The average fan has other shit going on. They got stuff to do, and they find themselves doing it, and then wrestling finds its way on the back burner. So,
ooh, okay. So now you're hitting home with something and got my gears turning.
yeah, your car gears.
My car gears.
Oh, okay.
Is Marky Mark going from a hot and heavy wrestling fan to an average fan? Is this what's happening to me?
So let me ask you a question. Is it because you're not interested in the product anymore, or is it because you're not interested in wrestling anymore?
I'm not interested in the product.
Exactly. Anymore. So if the product isn't drawing you in, then what happens? You find other things that draw you in. Exactly.
Ooh.
So now we go back to
revelation and enlightenment happening.
Well, now we go back to kind of what I was saying. Like, the last few Raws, I'm watching. It's on, but every night, with the time change, and it's coming on at 7, and we're bouncing all over the place. A lot of times, I don't turn it on till late, so I don't have to sit through all the commercials. A lot of times, I'm finding myself doing other stuff because it's a Monday night. I got other shit going on, right? It's the first day of the week, of the work week. You're trying to catch up from whatever you may not have got done over the weekend. You're doing dinner. You're doing everything that the normal work week does in a normal household. And every now and again, Raw has to just kind of be on in the background, and you need to be pulled in to say, hey, I got to stop what I'm doing to watch this. It hadn't been giving me that so much over the last few weeks, right? Until this week when Roman was on. When Roman opened Raw, best believe I'm sitting on the couch dead in front of the TV because they told me at like 4 o'clock, Roman's opening Raw tonight. I'm like, oh, what time does Raw start? 8 o'clock this week? 7:58, my ass is parked.
Okay, all right.
Parked.
All right, so they told you Roman Reigns will be opening the show, and you parked yourself in front of that TV because you're like, oh, this is can't miss.
Yep.
So you're telling me in the whole locker room of WWE, women's side included, there's nobody else that they could tell you right now, hey, they're going to be opening the show at 8 o'clock. That's going to make you park there at 7:58?
Nobody that was on the show the week before. Absolutely not. So like they could pull out The Rock. They could say like Triple H will be out there. There's a whole multitude of people they could bring out there that would draw my interest, but not people that are there week in and week out. Roman was there last week. So of course they carried that over into this week, and they're like, Roman's opening the show this week. I'm up. Got to see what Roman's going to say because Roman draws the interest.
Okay. So Roman ain't going to last forever.
Nope.
We know Roman's already on a temporary work schedule as it is.
Yep.
So what does WWE do? What do they do?
They go back to losing viewers because people are going to go back to doing their normal stuff again because they can't produce Roman week in and week out.
Okay, so this seems like a very big problem for a global juggernaut who has had tons of investors input tons of money recently into their product. What do? How do they get out of this?
So they've been navigating it for about 2 years now. I mean, this ain't new. This isn't, when Roman lost that title at WrestleMania 41, WrestleMania 40, it's kind of been that way, right? Like Roman lost the title at 40 and he was gone for like 6 months. And we did podcasts, plenty of podcasts that are still in the archives to this day where we were saying, man, this is the dog days of wrestling. We're kind of on that low of, we were so high at Mania 40 and now we're kind of so low. We ain't come out of that yet. I mean, progressively, nothing has been as exciting since 40. I don't know if anything will ever be as exciting as what 40 was.
That's what I was about to ask. The story of, I'm going to go back as far as I can remember, okay? The story of Dusty Flair, that was, in my mind, a must-see event.
Okay.
The next must-see event that I can think of right off the top of my head, Hogan Andre.
Yeah.
Must-see event.
Yeah.
Couple things sprinkled along the way. Not going to get into the whole history of things, but the latest must-see event was WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
And how all of this story was either going to come to an end or continue by hook or by crook. Somehow it was going to continue or, end. And Cody was going to finish that story.
Yeah.
So are we saying, as a podcast, since WrestleMania 40, they haven't topped it, and given their current state, they can't top it?
Yeah, they definitely haven't topped it. Now that's 100% in the books. They haven't topped it by no means. Nothing has come anywhere close to what they did at 40. I mean, again, nothing may come close again until 50. I mean, that may be a thing that can only happen once every 10 years. I mean, that was amazing. That was great. And everything in wrestling can't be great. Otherwise, there is no definition of the word great, right?
True.
If every week, if every pay-per-view we give you that level of quality of, product, well, then it's not special anymore. It's just passe.
True.
And then, at that point, then we're like, okay, well, what's next? Hell, we can't resurrect somebody to come out and wrestle a main event. That's the only thing that could be bigger.
You sure?
I'm sure they're trying. I'm sure there's somebody right now working on Hogan, right? They're like, man, if we can get Hogan
too soon.
If we can get 86 Hogan right now.
R.I.P. Hogan.
Absolutely. Let's send a shout out to Hogan, one of the greatest. But yeah, there is nothing that's gonna top that for a while, right? Because you had Roman and Rock were the two biggest stars in wrestling for 2 generations. I mean, the only thing you could have sprinkled in the middle of that is Cena, because he's the only other person that's been to where those two guys are. Roman said it walking out of the ring last week after the beatdown he put on the Vision. He said, there's nobody in this business that understands the altitude I'm working at right now. Nobody's been this high, and he's 100% correct. Cody ain't got to where Roman was yet. Seth ain't got to where Roman was yet. Nobody's getting to where Roman was yet, and Roman isn't even where Roman was yet. He still has that aura about him of, he is the big megastar. He's the superstar. He's got that aura of being almost untouchable, but nobody else is anywhere near that. I mean, they're not even orbiting where he was at right at this point. No one is.
So is there creative that can bust this up and try to make this work and get key players that are out there elevated to Roman status? Or was it the magic of Roman and Paul sprinkled into the bloodline story itself? Then we sprinkled in the final boss.
That was it, right?
That was the kicker, right?
Yeah, that's what took it to
you had all the
levels.
ingredients, and The Rock was just the catalyst that made it the best birthday cake ever.
Yeah, that's what made that particular story. That's what made that event so over the top. Again, you have, like you said, sprinkled in there. Let's say we had a thing that was going to be a thing, and then Triple H sprinkled some of his magic dust in there and found a way to put Cody back in it. And that, at the time, was okay because, finished the story. And again, that vocal minority that we talked about on the internet, they were in love with it. So we wrote on that. We wrote on the backs of it. Well, they finished the story. Cody won. Roman took the loss. And then that vocal minority that was out there cheering so hard for Cody and all that, they disappeared.
Do you think Roman knew at the end of that where we are is the pinnacle and we will not be back here for a while?
I think when they showed that picture of him walking off at the stage and he hugged Paul in the back and they had those words there, I think that's exactly what he told him in there. It's like, this is it. This is it. Yep. At least for those two guys, right? And that group of guys, everybody. I mean, you got to think you had The Undertaker in there. You had John Cena in there. You had anybody and everybody who The Rock was in there. Anybody and everybody who was somebody in the business found their way out to that. And there's no reason for any of them to come out and do it again. So,
right.
Roman at that point, he was Thanos, and that was Endgame, and Captain America and
there's some parallels between the WWE and the MCU.
Always, but Captain America, he vanquished the Lost Soldier, and unfortunately there was no one there to snap away, so we didn't lose anybody. Well, that was a good thing. Right. But I mean, Cody being the Captain America character, he won. He beat Thanos and he vanquished him. But much like the MCU, where do they go from here? Because they're kind of flailing, and now they're hoping for, 5 years later, that Doomsday, actually 7 years later, that Doomsday will resurrect their franchise. WWE needs something to resurrect their franchise, too. So I don't know if they have to do like Avengers and go back to Robert Downey Jr., where WWE might have to go back to Roman Reigns, but they got to do something.
All right, so fans might revolt at what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
As the Cody fan.
Oh, God.
As the Cody crybaby.
Controversial.
As the man.
Ooh, speaking of that, before you get into it, did you see LaGreca met The Rock last week? Did you see that? Did you see he gave him the pink robe?
That was awesome.
Rock was, he looked genuinely touched by that moment. And even that took me back into that moment of how exciting that was at that time.
So as the Cody fan and the Cody crybaby, it ain't Cody Rhodes that's gonna do it.
Never was. I told you that in the moment.
You did tell me
when it happened. This is on record, so get in the archives if you guys want to go back to March, April time around 2024. Go back and take a listen, because I told you then he ain't gonna be the guy. I said he was Triple H's guy, and I get it. You know
they are. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna drop the mic, and then we're gonna run.
Okay.
Cody might be to Triple H what Hogan was to Vince, except instead of Cody politicking, maybe it's Hunter politicking.
So it's definitely Hunter politicking, but I mean, let's look at Hunter. Let's look at Triple H, right? What more does he want as the figurehead of his company than a corn-fed white guy? I mean, come on, this is definitely a Triple H movie.
And on that note, we thank you guys for listening to every single episode. We're 150 in. We're gonna go 150 more, and then some. We ain't stopping. We ain't slowing down. You're hearing
the struggle bus just got an engine overhaul. We're ready to run again.
You're hearing two grumpy old men talk about professional wrestling. We appreciate you listening, and hopefully you'll continue to listen to two grumpy old men talk about professional wrestling.
Absolutely. I love it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening this week. And with that, we bid you adieu.
Peace.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.